This conference will now be recorded.
Reiterate, it's 5:30, we'll call the meeting to order. The first item is the review of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
None from staff.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve the agenda? All those in favor of approving the agenda as printed, say aye. Nay. Unanimous. Next item is the minutes from the March 11th regular meeting.
I move to approve the minutes dated March 11th.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as printed, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay.
You gotta wait.
Not quite time for a public hearing yet.
You could probably go over the other thing on the agenda, the rezone. Oh, yeah, yeah, we can do that. We can move that forward.
Skip on item 6.
Yep. Okay. So Adam and Jennifer McKinney from 10 Jefferson Drive are looking to rezone their parcel. They're currently in industrial 2. And I think I put a map on there as well, but they're kind of next to some industrial storage units. And I think that they were in industrial 2 maybe because they were maybe grandfathered in from like the previous like bed and breakfast, I think used to be there. And so they've been there for a few years now, and they're looking to be in a residential zoning, mostly because of their tax that they have to pay every single year. And so we're looking to put them in residential 2 because it's consistent with what we have in the area. It's the closest zone that they have. And so they're looking to do that. So we're going to look to set a public hearing for the May 13th meeting as well.
This is one question I have, if somebody in the future, is something there to switch it back?
I don't think so. Not that we've been aware of so far. We looked into it a little bit, but we don't have any problems with it.
Discussion on that?
Used to be my property. I never understood why it was industrial.
That's right.
That house has been there since 1895, and I think it was probably thought to be torn down at one point in time, and that's why it was given that industrial operation. But, yes, I think it should. I mean, we can talk about it, but it doesn't get pretty expensive. I move to set up a public hearing for May 13th, 5:09. I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimous. We're up for the 5:35 public hearing. Call the order for the hearings for 868 Gulfview Avenue. Would you want to explain more about that? You good?
Yes. So last time we talked about this variance, 868 Gulfview Avenue. They're looking to put a screened-in porch on their home. This plans will call they'll call for a covered screened-in porch to be placed in their rear yard, which last time I believe we had it flipped around, but this time I think I flipped it back for you guys so that the curved area is where that's where it'll be encroaching into. And so it's going to go into the setback by 5 feet. And currently it's 30 feet right now for the golf course. any property that abuts it. And so this was amended previously by the Planning and Zoning Commission in 2023 from 35 feet to 30 feet. And so now it's going to go into 25 feet territory as well. And so if approved, or this is the public hearing for that, and you guys can make your recommendation tonight, and then it'll go to city council moving forward.
We're moving to speak on that. Do the members have any thoughts or comments on this? Just wanted to clarify in this picture, is that blue line, is that the existing house?
Yep, and I think that this like bottom left section of the house will be that screen and porch, but I'm not completely sure about that. But on that tip there, it'll encroach into that 25, that second line will be the 25-foot property line on the setbacks.
So we would have to specify what the hardship would be, or the reason we would have for recommending variance if we did so.
So I think, based on what we talked about last month, the curved area is Gulfview Drive, so that's the front. It was reversed when we were talking about. The golf course is on the rear. Yep, on the top. And so the setback would be, variance would be on the rear side along the golf course, so at the top. So instead of 30 feet, it would be 6 or something. 6, 10. And that's maybe 25. Pardon?
The request is to encroach into it by 5 feet in the setback. We had it at 35 and we revised it to 30 feet.
The golf course is there, right? We don't-
So we've got no comments from the landlord.
I sent out public notices.
And they did receive notices.
Yep, I sent out in the mail and then in the newspaper as well.
When we changed it from 35 to 30, it was because there was concern with you trying to match other parts of town where you don't see any problem with that because, all parts are too uniform. No, we're going to disqualify.
But the next person was. That's.
Is the next person what?
Yeah, if the next, if somebody else would apply for
I'm
it.
thinking on this whole thing, I talked to, I was talking to him about this, at what point do we say that, say the next guy goes
Right.
15 feet?
Bigger porch.
Well, yeah, and these setbacks were made for these lots, to design the house to fit the lot, right? Instead of always us changing the zoning to fit the building.
Right. Yeah, just shorten addition.
Yeah, I talked to somebody too, they said, on the golf course, the Seth does some building on the golf course in Pine Island, and their setback along the golf course is 25 feet. So I weigh that out as like, building houses here, but at some point in time,
Oh, I think it gets tricky, right? Like if you have one of these other lots that are adjacent to it that are nice and square, you can, it helps, right? It gets more difficult when your lots are irregularly shaped to place the property in there.
Do you remember, Kurt, what the reason that why we're from 35 to 30 and not something else?
Johnny,
Yes.
wanted to put a patio, screen of the porch. And so instead of putting variance, he applied for a variance to change the setback if your yard abuts the golf course.
Didn't we look at some of the maps and find that some of the places maybe were already approaching on that? I was thinking,
It's probably the golf course.
Well, and I think that with the golf course, like, I think Kevin Kish is taking that up, there's a lot of enforcement. And then you can try to get that guy out in, so, and when you go further this way, this person that buys it knows they're buying it. The next person, well, I'm gonna start going a little further because it's really growing, so that's what I think the encroachment is going to be. So,
And we had some at the park, property at the park.
it was a tough, to me, it's a tough one too. Okay, you got a guy that wants to build a house, but, and he's a contractor, right? That builds these.
Yeah, this is the copy. The houses are pretty big.
Yeah.
These are the plans.
So it's an extra 5 feet. I know the practical difficulties that we have to consider. One of them is the essential character, will it be out of scale with, or inconsistent with others in the area, which it would be, I would.
Yeah, could you read all of this? Please? I don't have, that's what I was trying to look up. Like, what are the-
I have a list here of the practical difficulties.
The practical difficulties must be 3 criteria. That one is for the use for a reasonable manner, that they're gonna use it in a reasonable manner. It has to be unique circumstances, unique to the property. And then the essential character, that it won't be out of scale or inconsistent with others in the area. Those are the 3 things we're to consider if we are to grant a variance. The variances are in place to protect other properties.
Right, right, all around, right, yep. Yep.
This all new construction, is just a price condition.
Yeah, this is all just plans that we have so far.
So he's going to 25. We have it at 30, so he's going to 25.
You're right.
This is all of this. Let's sort of think if somebody else comes in next time. Well, you gave him 25. What's another 5 feet? We can have 20. Or somebody else somewhere else. Well,
secure, nobody's here arguing it, it's their mind.
It's we want to find these before these three establish from the altitude reasons.
we really have to meet those 3 reasons.
Right. I mean, it's unique because of the shape of the lot, right? You can stipulate there.
But it would be inconsistent.
Pretty close, yeah.
So these things, are the things that you read off, is some, is a guideline or what, I guess I'm not.
Right. For variance.
Those are part of our zoning ordinance for criteria for granting a variance.
That it has to be unique, it has to fit with the other property.
Has to be due to the property, it has to be reasonable project. And such a character.
So we'll have to provide that usually.
It's unique property. building a porch, he wants a porch.
Yes, that's our question, how do you spread the property?
Well, but it's adding on again, it's just really a porch, maybe it's I don't know.
Maybe if you off the porch, you're short of the porch.
So if they meet, what you're saying, we have to give the variance in?
No, well, no,
We
no.
have to make a decision, do we recommend a decision?
We have to follow these three rules that are mandatory by state.
And if we can't come up with reasons, or have reasons for recommending variance, then we
And we could be sued. I mean, if that's the way it is.
maybe not, probably not.
No, probably not. But we do have to abide by these three criteria. That's why variances are, that's why they're in place.
No. So you want to put a motion forward for discussion or for
I do believe we would also need to close the public hearing as well before you do that.
Okay, Bob, there was no public input anyway, and is there any further discussion? Close the public hearing, any further discussion on this topic?
Yeah, it could be redesigned to meet the variance. Right?
What did you say?
It could be redesigned to
It's not like,
with,
it's
to be,
wanting it
to be, right, it could be redesigned without the variance requirement.
It's like a porch or something.
That's the garage.
Oh, that's.
It's kind of a house. This is the garage, that's a house. This is kind of backwards, yeah. A little hard to. But it doesn't say how big the porch is.
He just wants a very simple, it's different than the event that we did.
It's the one-off for this property only.
I would make a motion that we deny this variance. That's my motion.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
We can move to second that we recommend denying the variance request. Any further discussion? Let call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Yes. Do you want to take a roll?
Yeah, we'll do a roll call.
Let's do a roll call vote on this. Now, we're voting to deny the variance.
Wanted to recommend denial of the variance.
Okay,
So, yeah,
I vote to deny.
yeah.
To deny.
To deny, and
Yeah.
Yes. And
Fine.
What are you struggling to, what part are you struggling with?
Well, I live on the golf course, and
Okay.
I just, my feet is that big of a deal, and I'm looking at it, it's not that, I'll go the other way.
Four to one, we recommend.
What did you vote?
Yeah, 5-1. 5-1 vote to recommend denying the variance request.
so if I remember it, if the council can do it.
Yeah, that's a recommendation. Yeah, they can overrule us.
Yeah, they don't very often, but they do.
Okay, so the second public hearing I have is for a variance request for 1025 Main Street. We'll call that public hearing to be open now. Miles, if you want to give us the synopsis?
Sure, yeah. Mr. Olson at 1025 Main Street is seeking a variance to build a new garage on a parcel. The new garage will be in the same spot as where the one that's currently there is. The side and rear setback will remain the same. The current garage is roughly 15 feet wide and 20 by 20 feet long. The new garage will be 32 feet long by 24 feet wide. The setbacks for the parcel zoned in residential 2 currently, the side yard, corner lots, not less than 12 feet on the side yard abutting the public street. Rear yard accessory dwellings 5 feet away from interior lot lines and shall not be located within utility easements. Maximum site coverage can only be 35%. As for the new garage, the side yard will go 4 feet, 4 feet and then it'll be 8 feet into the setback. Rear yard will be 3 feet and that's 2 feet into the setback, no utility easement restrictions. And the new 32-foot by 24-foot garage will, with primary residence, is only 22% site coverage. And then we just went through this before, but I have the variance procedure here as well if you need be.
Be the similar criteria to this talking about.
Yep.
Okay, any comments in the public? Anything you
It's
want
my
to,
garage.
anything you want to, anything you want to add to it?
The only thing I'd add to it is, the description is kind of backwards. It's 32 foot wide and 24 foot long. I mean,
Yeah, I wondered about
Yeah.
that.
Did we define that last week or last month?
We talked about it last week.
the
So it's
garage is only going to be 4 feet longer than the building that's there now, but it's going to be wider. Because it's
Wider
going to
will go towards your house.
Right.
Right?
be an approach from 10th Street for 2 cars coming into the garage.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, so it's been wide going towards the
Yeah,
house.
is
Yeah,
the
the
new,
wideness goes from the alley to the house, yeah. Not the other way around, but.
yeah, it's not gonna, is it gonna cover the same, expansion on both sides as what it's, where it's sitting now? Or is it gonna go one way wider?
It's gonna go towards the house, so
You know, that will be where the width will be added,
32.
between the west wall of the garage.
Between the alley, where it starts from the alley and towards the house.
Yeah,
It'll be 32 feet.
okay, but the new width will be from the west side of the garage on towards the house.
Correct.
The east side of the garage, out towards the house.
Yep, there, Alex, right? So,
Towards the east side, does your house sit on the,
East side of the Main Street.
the setback from the alley, what is that now?
2.
I think it's 4.
oh wait. Is your house on the south side of the street or,
Yeah, south side of 10th Street, yeah, that's 10th Street going across.
the south side of 10th Street? Yeah, I thought so.
Main Street's over here where that car is, I know that.
Okay. Mhm.
So you would be approaching, a little bit closer to the alley than you are now.
No,
Well, it'd be the same.
it's all gonna be built towards the house.
Towards
Yeah.
the house.
Okay.
It's just that the explanation in
And then the back side is gonna extend how much further?
here, 4 feet.
For only 4 feet?
I only can go that far because there's a gas line there and that I'm limited to where it is.
Okay. Mhm.
I mean, I'm not gonna tear up the gas line.
Go that way.
And actually, the building I'm replacing really isn't a garage. Can't get a car in it.
No, I've been by there, it didn't look like it was a garage. Yeah, lots of one car
I put a car in there one time when we first moved there and I thought, well, I can't get out the door. Just
Mhm.
barely got in the door, I was holding up the light dust.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
Just for the sake of repetition, so the new building would be closer to the property lines of the existing building.
so all of the criteria fits what you were just saying?
Yep.
If nothing bad there.
No, we have no problem.
Variance in the city, right?
It's a motion.
Um,
Is there any other comments in public? Okay, we'll call public hearing closed. Any discussion by members?
I move that we approve this variance. And pass it to the city. That's right, yes.
For a second?
I second it.
The moved and seconded that we recommend approval of this variance request. Do any other discussion? We'll call for the vote. We already got Bill.
I vote approve.
Yeah,
Yes.
Fred?
I'm gonna abstain from this because I helped Arlen draw this up to help him bring it to the city and stuff, so it's good.
Yes.
Now approve. The motion will carry 4-1 with one abstention. Okay, so the next on the agenda will be number 5, old business. Is there any old business?
There's not.
Let's get down to 6D, Converter Development Agreement template.
Yes. So, we were recommended by our city attorney, kind of moving forward, that we would like to develop a new development agreement that we use universally across any new developments that come into town. What we're recommending to the city council tonight is only a template. I do have a physical copy here, and I was interested in looking at it once more. But all we're kind of looking at is it's only a template, and these figures will change based on every single development. And this gives the city a lot more leeway into creating these agreements so that we can kind of negotiate different things. We can remove things that are not necessary for every agreement. And obviously gives us a lot more legal backing. Let's say if we were sued by a property owner for any breach of contract, we have something that's has a little bit more teeth to it and covers all of our bounds. And this will be a great benefit to us moving forward because we will be starting to work on developing a new agreement for the Keller Apartment building that will be going in. And this will give us a lot more room to negotiate and help us to just have a formalized agreement that any developer can look at if they're looking to come into town. And this can be available to use. And we took this template. This all covers from the city of St. Charles. So this is what they have, but our city attorney also worked there previously, and he has recommended this, and we've changed everything to fit Zumbrota as well. So what you're looking at is what we hope to move forward with for any future agreements.
The question I had previous to now, or up to now, like for that other building, did they have to develop a specific agreement all from scratch for that? Is that how that was done?
Yeah, well, we've used templates in the past before, but we didn't have a universal one that we use consistently. So we've had a few different kind of ones that we've used in the past. And I think going forward, it would just be better if we were more consistent with that, because if someone were to sue us, they could use that as an argument saying that you had two different agreements which cover different things and different templates. Is going to be interesting.
Any discussion or?
Do you need action on this one, or is it just an additional?
We would just be, we would be voting to recommend it to city council.
So this is a standard thing, and the things that are filled in on it would be different for each person.
Yeah, well, the meat of it's gonna remain the same. We have some blank spots which we'll fill in with like our figures. So like if we have a TIF agreement or something, we'll fill in those specific numbers because they're gonna change every single time. And some of the criteria in there and some of the sections aren't necessary for every building and won't be. And so those will get removed, and sometimes they'll get reworked anyway too. Like in particular with the Keller Apartment building, there may be some things that will have to change just because like an apartment building may not require all of the things that are in there. And so those will be worked out when we negotiate it, but you will see the final product of every single development agreement. This isn't saying that we're good to go and you can just do whatever you want. Any agreement that we have will eventually come back to you and city council for approval and the final regard.
So when it's written up, the parts that don't apply are going to be taken out of it?
Yep,
Okay.
but you'll still see the final
Right.
draft.
Okay.
Great idea.
I don't know either.
I have it all.
I tried to read it.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
They say I don't know the details of it, but overall.
I'll go ahead. I make a motion to recommend the, what did you say?
Development agreement.
Wait a second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we recommend approval of this development agreement template. Any discussion? We call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Is there any other business to be brought forward?
I've no sir.
Open, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Right. Adjourned.
Well done.